I'm going to compare these two boots I just got and trying to make up my mind which one to keep. And I think I've decided on one, and I'll send the other one back. This is the Scarpa Triolet on the left and the Scarpa Charmoz on the right. Now, first of all, these will be my first mountaineering boots. This is my old boot. This is what I'm used to wearing. And this is a hunting boot. It's like a 9-inch tall hunting boot. Gore-Tex with the rubber rand on the bottom, and they're solid boots. You can put crampons on them. And they work. They're heavy. They're heavier than either of these two boots. As far as these Scarpa boots I just got, this Charmoz here feels pretty light. I don't have much to compare to, as these are my first boots that are classified as mountaineering boots. So, first, let me measure the height of these things. About 8.5 inches at the top, and my old boot here is 9.5 inches at the top. Now, both of these boots, the soles of both of these boots are really identical. I couldn't find any differences in them. They both seemed exactly the same. The same stiffness, same tread, same everything. I think they're exactly the same. The difference in these boots seems to be the uppers. And first I'll go over the Charmoz boot. First of all, this boot I paid $200 for, so it was a bit cheaper. The other one, the Triolets, were about $270, $265. So this boot, the Scarpa Charmoz, the uppers on these, first of all, the rubber rand on both of the boots is about the same. And then from there on up, it's a lot of differences. And first of all, the front of these near the toe, they don't have the metal eyelets like the Triolet does. So that's kind of nice if you're sticking your foot into rock or something and you won't get caught up on these eyelets here. I don't know how durable this is going to be long term. This is some kind of a stamped leather they're using here. And then this is some kind of synthetic material. I don't know how durable that section's going to be or how much water it's going to absorb. The uppers on these things, they fit fairly nice up in here. They fit like a slipper, but in the heel there's a lot of slop in the heel, side to side. Maybe like, it feels like a 1/4 inch on each side of my foot in the back in there. It's probably not that much, but there's a lot of slop, enough to notice that heel slopping around back there, and I really didn't like the way that fit too much. Other than that, they fit great. I normally wear a size 11 running shoe. My actual size is probably 10.5, but I size up a little bit. And I got a 44 in these Scarpa Charmoz boots, which is a 10.5. And I was worried they were going to be too small. I didn't want them to be too small, but they're not at all. Actually, they fit great. Overall, I think it's the right size. They actually feel a little bit bigger than I would say than I would have thought they would have felt. Now, in the And the Triolet boot, I got a 44.5, which I thought would be a better fit. And as it turns out, because of the padding in there or something, the Triolet is a half size bigger, but it honestly feels a little bit smaller than this Charmoz here. So going back to this Charmoz boot, I don't know how durable these uppers are going to be long term, or you know, in the rough stuff. I don't know how they'll do, and they seem, honestly, they seem like a little bit light for the sturdiness of the sole. It's a sort of a, seems like a mismatch between the uppers and the sole. You know, the sole is really stiff, and then the upper is fairly flexible. Almost feels a little too thin, and I don't know how long they'll last, and they're definitely not going to be as warm, I don't think, as these ones. Just wearing them around the house, I can feel that the Triolet boots probably don't breathe as well as these Charmoz ones. So if you're looking for a warmer weather boot, then these might be the way to go. Looking at the back of these things, roughly the same. The leather on the Triolet is suede, and it seems a little thicker than the leather they use on the Charmoz. And they don't use the suede on these, they use this sort of stamped leather. I don't know what you call it, but I think I covered the Charmoz pretty well. I mean, the inside of these boots, the padding, it seems a little bit thicker on the Triolet, so it's like your foot, it's a little bit more snug inside there, even though I have a half size bigger in that one. And then as far as the lacing goes, I gotta say that I like this Triolet a bit better because it has this buckle D-ring thing that snaps closed and lets you adjust the tension down here separate from this area up here. Now I don't know, maybe that's a common thing in these type of boots, but because I haven't had any other than these old hunting boots, I don't know how that works. So, but anyways, the Charmoz ones don't have that. They just have this normal little hook there, and I gotta say that this is a nice feature on these Triolet boots, because if you're wearing a bigger sock or something, you can loosen up the laces down here and then still tighten them down up here without affecting it down here, because this sort of separates the two sections. So these ones don't have that, and I think that's a great feature of this boot. Now, weight wise, the Charmoz is 833 grams, one boot, this one right here, and this Triolet is 948 grams, 115 grams heavier per boot. And my old boots over here are 1,050 grams, so an extra 102 grams on those above the Triolets. And when you lift the Triolet boot, it feels heavier than the Charmoz. I mean, you can feel the difference in the things, so it's noticeable, the weight difference. But when you're wearing these things, the Triolet feels like you're wearing a boot, and the Charmoz feels like not much of a boot, to be honest. I mean, the sole is stiff, the sole is good, but the upper is just really flexy, and doesn't give you that sturdy sound feeling that this boot does. So that's something to consider. Build wise, they're really both really nice. I'm having a hard time deciding, mostly because, you know, these ones are going to end up costing me about 80 bucks more when all is said and done versus these ones. And but I think I'm gonna go with the Triolet because I like the way it seems more durable. I think it'll last longer, and also I really wouldn't wear these. I wouldn't want to be in these in anything that's questionably on the cold side. So I think these will be more useful because the main reason I got the boot is to use with crampons in the winter and not in cold weather. I live in Southern California, so you know, cool but not super cold, and not overnight trips or anything like that. So I don't foresee that I'll be in super cold temps, maybe down to about 20 at the lowest is what I would think, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyways, that's my little review of these two. Overall, it's like the same shape of boot. I looked at the pictures online and I first thought that this Charmoz boot had a higher back into it than the Triolet, but they're exactly the same as it turns out. And as far as the tongue goes, the tongue in the Triolet looks a little more sturdy. It's got that extra stitching on the top versus the Charmoz. It's more just like a tennis shoe tongue. Doesn't have that extra bit of stitching up there. I don't know how much that adds, but then the tongue itself, the Charmoz or the Triolet seems a bit more durable all around. And if you look at the Charmoz, it's just this black stuff. It doesn't seem as tough quality as the other one here. So that's the boots. I like the boots. They feel really nice. Honestly, I'd keep both of them if I could, and I'd find a use for them, I'm sure. It's nice to have multiple pairs, but right now I just need to stick with one, and they're so similar that I can't justify keeping both of these things. There's other things I'd rather have more. I wish I could keep the cheaper ones and, you know, send those ones back, but I think I'm gonna go for the more expensive ones because they just feel like more of a sound boot to me, and I think they'll last longer and have more varied uses. Like if you're going down a scree slope and tearing up your boots, I really think that these are gonna hold up better than these. I mean, this has got to be tougher to me than this stuff here. I don't know that for sure, but I just think just the look of it and the feel of it that it would hold up better. And then these eyelets down here, it's nice if you're in the rocks or something, but I don't know how long-term durable that's going to be without the metal like you have on these ones. But other than that, you got the two D loops at the top, or whatever you call those things, quick loops. Same as on these ones, and the only main difference is, of course, no eyelets down there versus that, and then this locking D-ring here versus that quick loop thing there on that Charmoz. So great boots. I can't wait to get out in the mountains with them, get some crampons on there maybe before the summer comes, and try them out. They feel good. They feel good in the house. They feel good. They look good. As far as the looks of them, these Triolets are a bit duller orange, and these Charmoz ones are brighter orange colored. I kind of like the dull look better, personally. So there you go, side by side. I hope this video helped you. I realize I run on and ramble a lot, but if you got any use out of it, give me a thumbs up and whatnot, and I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good one.